because the one coincidence that I realized is that there was in 1977 a mysterious radio signal called the wow signal that
Right.
and it came from a direction that is within 9 degrees from the arrival direction of 3A Atlas.
Right now, as you watch this, defense networks across every continent are running planetary threat simulations at an unprecedented scale, and the trigger is an object moving through our solar system that shouldn't exist. This is 3I Atlas, an interstellar comet that has violated every natural law we understand about celestial mechanics. In recent weeks, the European Space Agency, the United States Space Force, Japan, Australia, South Korea, and Brazil have all launched coordinated planetary defense drills. These exercises were not scheduled, they were not routine, and they all focus on one thing: tracking what internal military documents are calling high-velocity, non-gravitationally accelerated objects. That term, according to space analysts, is code for 3I Atlas and what may be traveling with it. The official story: routine preparedness. The reality: governments worldwide are mobilizing infrastructure, accelerating budgets, and deploying classified sensor technology at a speed that suggests they know something the public does not. Let's break down exactly what has happened and why every detail matters. The European Space Agency kicked this off. Over 3 days, they activated their full planetary defense system. This wasn't a tabletop exercise. Mission control went live. Rapid response modeling teams were engaged. Ground-based observation networks across multiple countries were synchronized in real time. This was a full-scale operational test, the kind you run when you're preparing for something real. Days later, Japan followed. They launched an accelerated asteroid impact drill that pulled together civilian agencies, military command centers, and commercial satellite operators. The focus? High-speed coordination, the ability to respond within hours, not days. Then the United States made a move that cannot be ignored. The US Space Force conducted a high-altitude orbital tracking rehearsal. Here's the critical part. This exercise was originally scheduled for late 2026. It was moved forward by more than a year with no public explanation. When a superpower accelerates a multi-million-dollar military drill by that margin, it's not because of convenience. But it didn't stop there. Countries that rarely participate in international space defense operations, Australia, South Korea, Brazil, suddenly joined coordinated exercises. These drills centered on one capability: data sharing systems designed to monitor objects that move in ways gravity alone cannot explain. And here's where the language gets revealing. Internal documents describe the focus of these drills as tracking high-velocity, non-gravitationally accelerated objects. That's not asteroid terminology. That's not comet terminology. That's something else. And according to defense analysts, it's referring to 3I Atlas. So what does this actually mean? It means that behind closed doors, space agencies and military planners are treating 3I Atlas not as a curiosity, but as a scenario that requires the entire planet to be ready to respond simultaneously. A scenario complex enough that it justifies pulling nations together who normally compete over space surveillance technology. Consider this: the International Asteroid Warning Network, a coalition that typically operates with strict protocols around classified information, has now inserted language that permits temporary integration of classified sensor data. Translation: they're allowing spy satellites, military-grade infrared monitors, and deep space tracking systems to feed into civilian networks. That has never happened before at this scale. Why would they do that unless the object in question required capabilities beyond what civilian astronomy can provide? And there's another implication buried in the details. These drills focused heavily on tracking multiple independent objects. Not one comet, not one asteroid. Multiple objects moving together, each with independent mass and trajectory. That suggests defense planners are preparing for a scenario where 3I Atlas is not alone. According to astrophysicist Avi Loeb, there is now a hypothesis that fundamentally changes how we should be thinking about this object. Loeb has proposed that what we've been calling the anti-tail of 3I Atlas, a jet of material that points toward the sun, defying basic physics, may not be a gas plume at all. Instead, it could be a swarm, a collection of compact objects traveling in formation with the main body lagging slightly closer to the sun, offset by tens of thousands of kilometers. If that hypothesis is correct, planetary defense just became exponentially more complicated. You're no longer tracking one object with one trajectory. You're tracking a distributed system, multiple masses, multiple velocities, multiple orbital behaviors. Defense analysts have stated that this scenario would require expanded sensor networks, additional satellites, faster response protocols, and a level of international coordination that current systems are not built to handle. That's why the drills are happening now. That's why budgets are being accelerated. That's why classified technology is being integrated into civilian operations with minimal resistance from rival nations. Investigators warn that if the swarm hypothesis is accurate, current planetary defense models would need to be rewritten entirely. The systems we have are designed to deflect or destroy a single incoming object. A swarm doesn't work that way. Each object would need to be tracked individually. Each would require its own deflection strategy. And if they're compact and dense, some may not be deflectable at all. But here's where it gets even more alarming. 3I Atlas is not behaving like any natural object we've ever observed. Scientists have documented rigid, physics-defying anti-tail jets. They've recorded unexplained pulsations, brightness fluctuations that don't match comet outgassing or rotation. They've measured persistent non-gravitational acceleration that does not fit any natural model. Let's be clear about what non-gravitational acceleration means. It means the object is speeding up or slowing down in ways that gravity, solar radiation pressure, and outgassing cannot explain. Natural comets don't do that. Natural asteroids don't do that. 3IATLAS does. It slows down irregularly. It accelerates without apparent cause. It brightens unpredictably. It rotates in ways inconsistent with known natural objects. Every time scientists model its behavior, the models break. And now, governments are deploying technology that usually triggers international conflict. Surveillance satellites, deep space infrared monitors, advanced tracking platforms, technologies that nations typically guard with extreme secrecy are now being shared across borders with almost no resistance. The European Space Agency just received approval for a €22.1 billion expansion, approved with unusual speed. US procurement documents show accelerated contracting for advanced orbital tracking systems. Contracts that normally take years to approve are being fast-tracked in months. This is not normal bureaucracy. This is crisis-level mobilization, disguised as preparedness. 3I Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth on December 19th. That date is now circled on every planetary defense calendar in the world. But here's what you need to understand. Governments are not treating this as a one-time event. They are treating this as a catalyst, an opportunity to build out planetary defense infrastructure years ahead of schedule, an opportunity justified by an object that refuses to behave like anything natural we've encountered. The official narrative is that this is routine, that these are exercises, that the timing is coincidental. But when you look at the facts, the scale, the speed, the coordination, the deployment of classified assets, the integration of military and civilian networks, the approval of budgets that were stalled for years, the conclusion is unavoidable. They are preparing for something. Whether that something is an impact scenario, a surveillance scenario, or something we don't yet have the language to describe, we don't know. What we do know is this: 3I Atlas continues to defy every model. It continues to accelerate in ways that should not be possible. It continues to exhibit behaviors that do not match any known natural phenomenon. And as it moves closer, governments are moving faster. The drills will continue. The sensors will expand. The budgets will grow. And the public will be told it's all routine. But routine exercises don't get moved forward by a year. Routine exercises don't integrate spy satellites into civilian networks. Routine exercises don't pull rival nations into synchronized operations with zero resistance. Whatever 3I Atlas is, the world's defense systems are being restructured around it. And that restructuring is happening right now, whether we're paying attention or not. December 19th is coming. The approach is inevitable, and the infrastructure being built in response will outlast this single event. This is not just about one comet. This is about what comes after. This is about what governments believe could come next and what they're willing to build, spend, and mobilize to be ready for it. Subscribe for more updates as the truth continues to unfold.